This is some breaking news. Donald Trump will reportedly sign an executive order ending cashless bail, and he'll threaten jurisdictions that allow it by saying he will take their federal funding. But here's the problem with that. Cashless bail is intended to help those lower income earners be on the same leveled playing field as those who make more money. Donald Trump literally had to pay $200,000 in bail. In fact, Trump actually got out on cashless bail in one of his cases, in the January 6th case. In America, people are innocent until proven guilty, and removing the cashless bail system means that most poorer people, and in many cases minorities, are going to be sitting in jail while they await their trials and while being innocent, while the wealthy people get to get out on bail. Remember when Republicans were all about states' rights? Well, now they have completely done a 180, and now it's all about what Trump decides. So they're all about big federal government, small states' rights, and whatever dictator Trump says is right is now right. This has become a cult of Trump, and MAGA is just buying right into it.
Just now on the central economic policy of this Trump administration, in a huge blow to the White House and its agenda, and a big win, I would say, for everyone else, a federal appeals court has just ruled that Trump's sprawling tariffs are unlawful and invalid. Of course, the president has been obsessed with imposing his willy-nilly tariffs on Americans. In fact, it has been the central plank of his entire economic agenda. Now, it has been wildly unpopular. It's polling underwater. It is costing consumers and corporations billions and billions of dollars by the day. It's stopping the Fed from cutting interest rates by driving inflation. It has, on the whole, been really bad economic policy. And most of the discussion of these tariffs have been focused on that. But there's also something about these tariffs, which is that from the jump, they've been pretty clearly illegal. I mean, think about it for a second. Can the president just by himself create tariffs that raise hundreds of billions of dollars with zero congressional input? These tariffs are a violation of the law that they purport to use as the justification, and a violation of the spirit of the Constitution of a country which was quite literally founded on the belief the executive cannot unilaterally just impose a tax without representation, specifically tariffs. Now, the Trump administration has claimed that its tariff regime and the reciprocal tariffs that it has, and those on China and Mexico and Canada, that those are an emergency measure under a 1974 law, and that made it illegal. Well, when this was challenged in a district court, the district court judge said, no way, this does not comport with the law. So the Department of Justice, acting as Trump's lawyers, appealed. In a huge development, an appellate court has just upheld that ruling 7-4, the federal appellate circuit, saying it is illegal. All the tariffs you're citing are illegal. The emergency you claim is not a valid basis to break the law.
Hey, loser, get in. We're going losing. That's right, friends. Donald Trump just lost in federal court again. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, Donald Trump just lost another case in federal court, and that's not unusual. That's pretty much par for the course. But what's so disturbing is that he lost this same legal battle in court during his first administration. So what that shows is that Donald Trump is knowingly and intentionally issuing unconstitutional executive orders. Executive orders that were found unconstitutional previously by federal courts. You know, this represents outright.
Now, this thing about whereabouts of Donald Trump is getting very, very serious. Why? Because if you hear people like his own vice president, that is J.D. Vance, speaking about he can uptake the role of presidency if anything severe happens to Trump. He just said that. And I mean, if you also look at the White House team, they have just failed to prove that Trump is alive. They have just failed it. And there is a press conference which is just about to happen, and I think in that press conference is where they are going to address the whereabouts of President Donald Trump. I have a strong feeling that it might be health issues. I don't think it's health issues that may lead to incapacitation, because that now is another thing. But let's wait and see.
Trump's latest executive order should scare everybody. His new executive order makes it legal to be institutionalized if you are determined to be mentally ill. And unsurprisingly, that is such a broad term that could apply to just about everyone. Remember how just recently there was a bill put forth to validate Trump derangement syndrome? Unsurprisingly, queer and trans people should be concerned because this administration has made it abundantly clear that they feel that trans people are mentally ill. So under this new executive order, if trans people are determined to be mentally ill, they can be forcibly institutionalized. And this is what we warned everybody about by reading Project 2025. We knew this was coming, and now it's here.
Just moments ago, we got word from a U.S. appeals court. This is breaking. The court found the president's global tariffs were found to be illegal. The court finding Trump exceeded his authority in imposing the tariffs, upholding an earlier ruling by the Court of International Trade that ruled Trump wrongfully invoked an emergency law to issue the tariffs. This is a major development. It's the emergency that the court is ruling on here.
That's right. And that was always suspect. And, you know, reading the statute, it was very, very hard to imagine that the court would support a declaration of an emergency. You know, he talked about an emergency for things like the trade deficit, for instance. But yet that has been going on for decades and decades, hardly constituting an emergency. So it was always an uphill battle for the administration. They will certainly appeal. And of course, this is part of what the administration is going to have to contend with. And consumers and businesses around the world, countries around the world, this uncertainty as it pertains to tariffs. This is what the president took on when he announced this regime. And we'll have to see what the courts say as this moves forward.
Lastly, sir, this is an executive order on flag burning. It charges your attorney general.
Would you listen to this? This is very important. Flag burning. All over the country, they're burning flags. All over the world, they burn the American flag. And as you know, through a very sad court, I guess it was a 5-4 decision, they called it freedom of speech. But there's another reason, which is perhaps much more important. It's called death. Because what happens when you burn a flag is the area goes crazy. If you have hundreds of people, they go crazy. You can do other things. You can burn this piece of paper. You can... But when you burn the American flag, it incites riots at levels that we've never seen before. People go crazy. In a way, both ways. There are some that are going crazy for doing it. There are others that are angry about them doing it. Do you want to discuss that?
Sure. So what the executive order does, sir, it charges your Department of Justice with investigating instances of flag burning. And then where there's evidence of criminal activity, where prosecution wouldn't fall afoul of the First Amendment, and instructs the Department of Justice to prosecute those who are engaged in these instances of flag burning.
And what the penalty is going to be, if you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail, no early exits, no nothing. You get 1 year in jail. If you burn a flag, you get, and what it does is incite to riot. I hope they use that language, by the way. Did they?
Incitement.
Incite to riot. And you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail. You don't get 10 years, you don't get 1 month. You get 1 year in jail, and it goes on your record. And you will see flag burning stopping immediately, just like when I signed the Statute and Monument Act. 10 years in jail if you hurt any of our beautiful monuments. Everybody left town. They were gone. Never had a problem after that. It's pretty amazing. We stopped it. But this is something that's, I don't know, in a certain way, it's equally as important. Some people would say it's more important. Because the people in this country don't want to see our American flag burned and spit on. And by people that are, in many cases, paid agitators. They're paid by the radical left to do it. You talk to these people, they don't even know, half of them don't even know what they're doing. They say, I don't know. They gave me money to do this. I see the same things that you do. They're bad people. They're trying to destroy our nation. That's not working because I think our nation now is the most respected nation anywhere in the world by far.
Ladies and gentlemen, so It's 2025, right? And Donald Trump is still in the White House, but his presidency is far from just about policies, as it's being defined by a constant wave of legal battles. From the accusations of election interference to the classified documents to the chaos of the Capitol riot, Trump is facing serious legal challenges. And while he is still the president, the question remains, what does it mean when a sitting president is caught up in such a controversial legal storm? Is it about justice? Or is it just another attempt to take him down? I don't know what you think about that. Maybe you can tell us in the comment section below.
Well, friends, today a barrier has been broken. For the first time, the FBI searched the home of a former president of the United States, executing a search warrant to seize evidence of crime. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So, a legal barrier has been broken. A maiden legal voyage has been taken. And no, I'm not wearing a tie to celebrate or commemorate the breaking of that legal barrier. I have been hopping on and off some of the NBC platforms. As you may know, I'm a legal analyst for MSNBC, and I also appear on News Now and Peacock Streaming and occasionally on NBC Nightly News. So that's why I have not taken my tie off. I'm out of my normal uniform for my Justice Matters videos, but it's a big night. It really is an historic night. Let's talk about what we know and what we don't know about the fact that the FBI just searched Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump's home of record in Florida. Let's start with today's New York Times reporting. Headline, FBI searches Trump's home in Florida. And the article begins, former President Donald J. Trump said on Monday that the FBI had searched his Palm Beach, Florida home and had broken open a safe, an account signaling a dramatic escalation in the various investigations into the final stages of his presidency. Okay, friends, let's start with what we know. What we know is that a federal judge issued a search warrant. And in order for a federal judge to issue a search warrant, he or she had to conclude that there was evidence of crime right now located on the property at Mar-a-Lago. And the way the judge reaches that conclusion is he or she will review a sworn statement, an affidavit by an FBI agent setting out the evidence supporting that conclusion, that there's evidence of federal crimes right now located on the property at Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump's home. We know a judge issued that search warrant. We know that FBI agents executed that search warrant, and we can assume that they recovered evidence. We don't.
President Trump, will you come speak to us, President Trump?
Oh, that was.
Okay, all this story started after Trump left office. In the year 2022, the FBI raided his estate, seizing hundreds of classified documents that Trump allegedly took with him when he left the White House, of course. This ignited a firestorm. For his critics, it was a blatant violation of the law. I mean, how could a former president be involved in mishandling classified information or materials? But for his supporters, they have a soft heart for him. They saw it as a part of a larger political attack to stop him from running for president again. Those were his supporters, MAGA supporters. Hey. And of course, it didn't end there. Trump's effort to challenge the 2020 election results led to more legal trouble. And this time round in Georgia, he was accused of pressuring state officials to find enough votes to flip the outcome in his victory. In his favor, I mean, and to many, this was a blatant attack on democracy, of course. But to his supporters and his base, it's just him trying to make sure the election was fair. The case carries huge weight, especially since Trump was president while the investigation was underway. Then, there is the Capitol riot on January 6th, and we all remember Trump's role in the chaos is still a major point of contention. Did he incite the violence, or was he simply voicing his frustrations over what he believed was a stolen election? Critics, or those who don't support him, say his rhetoric directly fueled the insurrection, but his supporters see it as a misrepresentation of his words and intentions. I mean, this is beautiful. And as Trump faces multiple legal challenges while still in office, one question keeps popping up. Yeah. Is this really about justice, or is this part of a broader political game to undermine his presidency? For Trump and his supporters, these legal cases are seen as an effort by the political establishment to shut him down and prevent him from running to power in the year 2028. On this, I don't know if the Constitution will allow him. Honestly, I don't know. Anyway, on the other hand, critics argue that these cases are crucial in holding a sitting president accountable. What can you say about that? Tell us in the comment section. Okay, let's talk about the media now, because the media has played a very, very huge role in shaping the public's view of Trump's legal issues. Critics say the media is doing its job by exposing his allegedly wrongdoings, but for his supporters, followers, the media is part of the same system that is trying to take him down. And Trump has often said that the press is one of his biggest obstacles, with the media painting him as a villain. Meanwhile, his supporters see it as a biased reporting and determined to create a false narrative about their president. Guys, so what's next for Donald Trump? With all these cases still ongoing, it's hard to say his path to re-election in 2028 is unclear, of course. But one thing's for sure, Trump's not backing down. He's not backing down, and as president, he still has the power to influence the conversation and potentially sway the outcomes of these cases. And of course, his base is more loyal than ever, convinced that he will overcome everything thrown his way. Anyway, America remains as divided as ever. And for many, Trump is the people's champion, standing up against a system they see as corrupt for others. Of course, for others, he is a danger to democracy who needs to be held accountable. One thing that is certain, Trump's legal battles are going to shape how history views his presidency, and how he will be remembered in American history is still a heated debate. People are still talking about it left, right, center, So guys, as we come to the end of this video, I want you to tell us what you think about Trump's legal battles while he's still in office. Is this a politically motivated attack, or do you think he's truly guilty of these charges? Kindly drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the events shaping our world today. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.